G'day and welcome to another Pokemon Go video. So jumping straight into Go Battle League, a little bit different today. I'm going to be just running quickly through a couple of sets. So on the league, Giratina, so Melmetal. So normally what I'll do with Melmetal is, so they'll throw their energy and then normally switch out. Let's see if that's the case this time. If they don't, I'll usually try and throw a Shadow Ball because they don't seem to shield it up. So this one came out with a Zekrom. For that, in comes Dialga. Shield up the first one. It's going to be a crunch, and it is, but that means that you can then fully charge down the Zekrom before it gets to its next move, so you need to be quick on that switch out, fully expecting the Melmetal to come back in, throw the Draco. Obviously it's not going to KO, and at this point I don't shield. I let the Dialga go down, so they did throw a Rock Slide bait there, not very effective, so that way I then got to get to another Iron Head. This time they've thrown the Super Pouts, KO'd. In comes the Giratina just to get a farm down, so it'll only be one little farm down. Then out comes the Togekiss, which is not great. So there I've thrown another Ominous Wind. I should have thrown a Shadow Ball. I did have enough energy, and unfortunately they've not shielded that. So out comes the Mewtwo. So I'm still in a perfectly fine situation. So they're going to throw their energy. I'll get to shield, and then I'll get to throw my Psychic type. Unfortunately, they got the boost there. So with the boost, this is GG. So normally from this range, the Psy Strike would take it out. Because they're boosted, it didn't, and they do enough damage to take me out. So that's just unfortunate. So that's a game there that's very, very winnable for me. And normally that would work. So let's jump into the next one and see what we get. So obviously people get the boost, and it sometimes makes the game. So the next one, another Melmetal, so switched out into a Dragonite there, so straight swap into Dialga. Obviously it'll be doing neutral damage, so because of the steel typing, and then the Dialga will be doing super effective damage to the Dragonite. So they didn't switch that up. Very surprising that they've decided to switch into Swampert. I would have expected them to come into the Melmetal. They haven't, so I'm thinking about what I'll do here. So out comes the Mewtwo, because obviously I've got a better matchup. So for this one, I've got two shields. I will shield it. It is just a Hydro Cannon. So for this one, I want to charge up a little bit of extra energy. Obviously, it's up to them whether they want to shield this up. So they have. That's fine. For this one, again, shield it up. It is another Hydro Cannon, so I was worried about the Rock Slide there. So I charged up to a full charge move before switching out, and then switched into the Giratina straight away. So the reason for that is obviously the Giratina is going to do more damage to the, Mewtwo is going to be resisted by the steel typing, so straight into Giratina. So unfortunately they did shield up the Shadow Ball, but then the Rock Slides are no real match, and able to get the Shadow Ball off. They've used all their shields now, and they will have to use energy to take me out here, so that's absolutely fine. So the question is how much energy they have stored. I've got enough for a double Psy Strike here, so I'll be able to Psy Strike the Melmetal and straight into the Psy Strike when the Swampert comes back out. And that's the importance of saving up energy for Mewtwo. So always try and overfarm on Mewtwo if you can. So we'll jump straight into the next one. Again, still leading Giratina and having Dialga and Mewtwo in the back. So another fairly common lead is the Mirror. So for the Mirror, so what I'll usually try and do here is let them throw their energy first, and try and get in, sneak in a little extra fast move. I will always shield that up, and then throw my own Ominous Wind. I'll always throw Ominous Wind first, and see what we get. So we get matched shields there, which is absolutely fine. So they're throwing again. I expect this to be another Ominous Wind. It's actually a Shadow Ball this time. Usually people will be throwing the Ominous Winds, and then I will throw my own Ominous Wind. So they've shielded up the Ominous Wind, and I'll be able to get to the next Ominous Wind before they can, because obviously they've gone the Shadow Ball, able to get there. This is actually an okay situation to be in, because it does mean I'll come in with the Dialga and be able to farm it down, so get a couple of extra fast moves there. So they've come in with the Kyogre here, which is really interesting. So they've got no shields, so 100% go the Draco Meteor here, and then this should be taking that out, and then straight switch into the Mewtwo there, and then go straight for the Focus Blast. So they will probably be able to get to 2. So they didn't actually get to 2, but the Focus Blast is enough to KO there. And the reason you swap straight out, obviously Draco reduces your attack, so no reason at all not to swap that out. So the other play is to leave it in and make them burn energy, because they will probably have to use a superpower to take out the Dialga, but I didn't want them to charge up a whole bunch of extra energy. So this one, so Kyogre on the lead's fairly standard. Swapping into the Dialga is just as standard. So I'll always mirror this match, just because usually people do have a Dialga counter, and I don't particularly have my Dialga counter is Dialga itself, so that's what I have to do. So shield up the first one, and they've not shielded there, so that's interesting. We'll see what comes out next. I do expect, and it is the Groudon. So Groudon's a really good counter. It does have the bait ability of Fire Punch, so we'll see what comes out. So Fire Punch should be enough to take it low, and then it just does farm it down. So I'll come out with the Mewtwo here, because obviously that has not got it's quicker to charge. So there I wanted an Earthquake, so you got to be careful of the no shields here, so I expect this to be an Earthquake, and it is just another Fire Punch, so I will go a couple extras, just over farm a tiny bit, and then and enough to throw back-to-back Side Strikes. So I didn't actually look to see what came out there, and it was back to the Kyogre. At this point they realise it's game over, so they switch out, so they quit out, and that's pretty much pretty standard there. Kyogre leads are quite nice for this team, just because they have to get to a Blizzard to do any real damage, and at the start of the match it's just so. Another Kyogre lead. We'll see what happens here. So they switch out and switch into Zekrom, which is an interesting one. So they will get to 1 charge move. At that point I'll shield it up. It's almost always a crunch, which is fine, and then I'll be able to charge this down without them getting to another charge move. They know that's well, I mean, I'm not sure why they quit out there, but GG's. Was a pretty uphill battle. In that one was able to go 4-1 with the boosted Togekiss in game 1. That meant I didn't go 5-1, 5-0. So that was a very easy 5-0 set, had they not got the 10% chance of boosting their Togekiss attack and defense, which they got. So I mean, great. Happens a bit, so what are you going to do? So went up a bit there, and we'll jump straight into the next set. Hopefully we'll get a few different leads. So Dragonite on the lead is not ideal for me, so for this one I'll switch into Mewtwo, and the reason for that is because, and then I've just realised they're not actually frozen there, so not ideal for them. So the reason I'll switch into Mewtwo over the Dialga is because they will probably switch straight out. There's less chance of them switching out if I throw in a Mewtwo, so less chance of the switch if Mewtwo comes in over the Dialga. So in this situation, I would expect normally for it to play out something similar to this, except for obviously with the enemy doing a little bit of damage. But I mean, it is what it is. So had I brought in the Dialga here, they would have switched straight into, I would imagine they would have switched straight into the So they had two options really if I switched into the Dialga. So they had the Swampert and the Togekiss. I expect they probably would have switched into the Swampert just because obviously the Togekiss is a good matchup for the Giratina. So yeah, but then so's the Dragonite. So they had two of mine covered really, really well. So we'll jump into the next one, and this one should be a little bit more interesting. So Giratina on the lead and Togekiss. This is a pretty common lead, and so how I play this is charge up to a Shadow Ball, throw an Ominous Wind, and I really want to get a shield here. So I really hope for a shield, and to be honest, most of the time I get one, and this will allow me to get to a second Ominous Wind. I can leave this, so this is going to be an Ancient Power. It's not, so it's an Aerial Ace and it takes me out. If it is an Ancient Power, it leaves me with enough health to throw the second Ominous Wind, and I don't need to shield. So that one, Aerial Ace, so out comes the Dialga there, so not ideal for me here. So for this, I will shield this up, and we'll see what they want to do here. So for this one, I'll go the Psy Strike because I'm expecting to get another shield, and I get the shield. So in this instance, I will switch this out, saving up a Psy Strike in the back for the Mewtwo. So for this one, I want to throw this energy just because I don't want them to get to a charge move, and they did. So unfortunate with just a tiny little bit of health. Shield that up because it's going to be the Draco, always going to be. Out comes a Kyogre there, and I really want to get to my Draco. I wasn't able to do it, but this resists the water very, very well, so obviously able to get to the Draco, and this will take it out. I did have Mewtwo in the back with energy, so absolutely fine. So that was a bit of a risky one. Probably should have just thrown the Iron Head and then switched into Mewtwo and thrown the Psy Strike. Another one, so for this, what I usually like to do is switch into my Dialga. Usually I'll get a switch into either a Melmetal, which is fine, or they will attempt to throw a Draco Meteor and then switch out. So I'm not 100% sure what this person's doing. So in this instance, what I'm going to do is let the Iron Head go through. I'll come back in with my Giratina. So they did have back-to-back Iron Heads charged up there. So get the shield, so now we're equal on shields, but I was able to get a little bit of extra energy farmed on the Giratina there. So out comes the Dragonite, and I will throw straight into an Ominous Wind. So I get the last shield, which is really good for me. So for this one, I'm thinking I'm going to let it go down and then come out with the Mewtwo. So not knowing what's in the back is a difficult one. So straight into the Psy Strike because I don't want to, and then out comes Kyogre, which is not great for me because the waterfalls just do so much damage. So it's kind of similar to the Togekiss in that respect, and the fast move does a whole lot of damage. Unfortunately, I have to use 2 charge moves there, and they've got a charge move stored on the Dragonite, and they're able to take me out. So to be honest, they would have been able to Dragon Breath me down anyway. So GG's on that one. So next one is Dialga again on the lead. So again for this, switch into my own Dialga. Hopefully this will be a more normal matchup. So I expect them to throw a Draco Meteor and then get out of there. They've thrown the Iron Head instead and then got out of there and gone straight into Mewtwo. That was very quick to charge up, so I am expecting it to be a Psy Strike. It obviously does do a lot of damage, so I want to throw my own Iron Head, and then I'm going to try and get to another Iron Head. Not able to do that, so I'll let this go down. Obviously I'll come in with my Giratina, no overcharge there because Mewtwo gets the Psy Strike so very quickly, and they do a lot of damage. So for this one, I will let it go through, and it is actually a Shadow Ball, which surprised me. So I'm down to Mewtwo versus Mewtwo and a Shield versus their Pokemon. So thankfully for me, I'm able to get to the Focus Blast. And then Focus Blast will one-shot the Snorlax, and then out comes the Dialga, and then I will be able to Psy Strike that. So in all honesty, I probably should have just gone for a Focus Blast rather than double Psy Striking. I did think I was in range, so in future, and then they didn't bother throwing energy because obviously I had a shield, so I was always going to block it, and they didn't want me to get the extra charge move through. So good play on their part, but I was just able to get there. So foolishly on my part, I thought I was able to get there, but to the first Psy Strike. So really good lead for me. So Machamp on the lead, so I'll get my Dialga straight in there. So I'll shield this up because I want to win switch, and it is the Draco Meteor. So now I'll be able to fully farm this down without worrying about them getting to another charge move, and then I'll be able to throw when I fully expect the Machamp to come back in, and that's another reason to get the Dialga out of the way, because obviously Machamp's a really good matchup for it, for them. So able to get that really low. So for this one, I think I threw in the Giratina, which is a bit of a mistake, to be honest. I probably should have thrown in the Mewtwo, because it would have been able to potentially take it out without it throwing down a charge move. Their last Pokemon is Melmetal, so they've not shielded that, which is unfortunate. I really would have liked a shield to go there, but they're going to Rock Slide, and then I'm going to save up and switch out. Unfortunately, I didn't quite switch out in time, so another Rock Slide, had to shield that. So now I'm going to throw an Ominous Wind to try and bait out their last shield. I was able to get their last shield, and let's see if I can get to an Ominous Wind first. I can, so that's really good for me. I really hope we see MP Tide. Let's see. So they're going to throw their energy, which I'm absolutely fine with. My Mewtwo will come out. Obviously, it's going to be resisted, but I can get to a Psy Strike really quickly. So they're only going to be able to Rock Slide me. So they usually Melmetal runs Rock Slide and Superpower, and then this is going to be enough to take it out without any real worry whatsoever. So and that was that game done, and so able to go 4-1 in both of those. So the first one obviously should have gone 5-1, and that's a little bit of my strategy, what I do. So I am really pushing for rank 9 this season. So obviously by the time this video goes out, season 2's probably already over. So the question is, can I make it to rank 9? And I got 100% Skarmory from that, so happy days. So hopefully these videos have been useful. If they have, let me know in the comments. Thanks very much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.